What's going on, my fellow patriots and deplorables? Today I wanted to talk about the facts surrounding Puerto Rico, as well as the propaganda being circulated by left-wing Puerto Rican propagandist groups and a Facebook group that helps circulate these lies amongst the Puerto Rican community called New York Rican if you're born in the U.S. with Puerto Rican parents. That's the name of the group. First, let's start off with the facts. What is going on in Puerto Rico? Well, right now as we speak, so far, we've established 11 regional centers to distribute food and water supplies. So far, they've distributed 2 million liters of water and 1 million rations of food meal. As far as power goes, 100% of transmission lines were down and all gasoline stations were empty and closed. Today, less than a week later, 689 out of 1,100 gasoline stations in Puerto Rico have been reopened and refueled. And there are enough supplies available in Puerto Rico, but there is a shortage of truck and hazardous waste certified drivers. For your information, something that the news media won't tell you is that the shortage of drivers comes from the fact that these sons of bitches and these unions in Puerto Rico are refusing to distribute the resources unless they get paid $50 an hour. Now, whose fault is that? Trump's? Wrong, Carmen Yulí's Cruz. How you gonna say Puerto Ricans are starving in front of the media while there are boxes upon boxes of Goya goods product behind you, stamped USA thanks to Trump? The mayor of Puerto Rico, Carmen Yulí's Cruz, is doing exactly what she's being told to do by the Democratic slanderers who slander Trump and continue the victim narrative for the dumber than dumb liberal population in Puerto Rico. They get lied to every 4 years, and 2 weeks before the next 4 years, they get lied to again and vote for the same corrupt Democratic and liberal politicians. You want to talk about a region that has been completely dumbed down by their politicians, and we can bring up Puerto Rico into our conversation. Since I see these brain-dead Democrats and liberals couldn't help but exploit the situation in Puerto Rico to circulate their propaganda, let's really go into the details of Puerto Rico's crisis to expose that this was a failed Puerto Rican government that created this crisis, not Hurricane Maria, no Trump. Did Hurricane Maria knock out power to 100% of Puerto Rico? This is a fact. The hurricane contributed to the total outage of power in Puerto Rico, but ultimately, the fact remains that Puerto Rico's electric company already needed major repairs and maintenance, which is why they offered poor services at sky-high rates and was struggling with a $9 billion debt. And check these facts out. Even though more than half of the island lives under the national poverty level, they pay 2 times more in the island than they do in the U.S. Talk about corruption. So what the Puerto Rican slimy mayor, Carmen Yulí's Cruz, is going to do now is milk this cow for all it's got. She's going to get in front of the media, shout and scream about how slow help is arriving to Puerto Rico without addressing any contributing factors to this awful situation, such as the fact that the Jones Act had to be waived, which was a process that required Congress to contact the head of the Department of Homeland Security, who then had to contact the Defense Secretary, Jim Mattis, who then had to determine if waiving the Jones Act was in the interest of national security. Puerto Rican Mayor Carmen Yulí's Cruz also forgot to mention that the supplies are already in Puerto Rico. But due to the fact that Puerto Rican truck drivers union are protesting, they don't have enough drivers. Is that Trump's fault or the fault of these selfish sons of bitches out there? Now let's talk about the propaganda and the lies and the exaggeration coming out of Puerto Rico thanks to the Democratic propagandist groups exploiting this crisis in Puerto Rico. There are presently 2 viral memes flowing around. One is a Photoshop tweet of Trump saying he has better things to do than to worry about Puerto Ricans who are basically just Mexicans with a New York accent. Now, I don't know what percentage of the Puerto Rican community is developmentally delayed, but one look at this meme should have told anyone with any degree of common sense that this is Photoshop, stupid. Then you have a voice recording of a woman saying that she's a police officer from Puerto Rico but refuses to give her name, claiming that Puerto Ricans are dying of starvation in Puerto Rico. Once again, common sense will have you asking, how is it possible that 3 to 4 days after Hurricane Maria happened, people are dying of starvation, yet it's a scientific fact that the average human body can last an average of 21 days without food? Now, just to snap people back into reality, does anyone remember where Obama was when hurricane struck Louisiana and the coffins were floating around in the streets? The same week where 3 officers got shot by an advocate of Black Lives Matter terrorist organization? Oh, that's right. He was in Cuba watching a baseball game with Raul Castro. And how long did it take for the Democrats to address the situation in Louisiana? How long did it take for them to bring help to Louisiana? How long did it take? This is exactly what I'm saying. You Democrats and you liberals, man, you people make me sick. Donald Trump has done an awesome job. What is going on in Puerto Rico is internal corruption. Carmen Yulín Cruz is a corrupt politician. Hence why they waited until all the supplies arrived in Puerto Rico in order for her to begin her divisive rhetoric, her defeatism, propaganda. These people make me so sick. And then I went and I circulated a video with a whole bunch of Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico sharing pictures and videos of the food that they received from the United States, thanking America. And I shared it to this group. It's called New York Rican. If you're born in the USA with Puerto Rican parents, I shared it to this group. And since the group has almost 31,000 members, Puerto Ricans, and they're so filled with propaganda, I got deleted off of that group just because they don't want the people to know the truth. And this is the truth of what's going on. There are left-leaning, democratic, and liberal Puerto Rican propagandists out there right now spreading these lies. The same Puerto Rican propaganda group that started that meme last year when Donald Trump was running for the presidency, claiming that Donald Trump was going to deport all Puerto Ricans, claiming that Donald Trump was going to create a war around Puerto Rico to keep Puerto Ricans out of the United States. And then this year, the same propaganda group known as, they have a website, it's called War Against All Puerto Ricans, War Against All Puerto Ricans, and they're associated with a pro-nationalistic group from Puerto Rico known as the FALN, Fuerzas Armadas Liberación Nacional. And they're all part of the same propaganda to delegitimize and discredit not only the United States, but Donald Trump. And these are the facts. And this is what's going on. Puerto Rico has all the resources. Puerto Rico has all the help right there waiting for them. What they need are for those Puerto Rican truckers that belong in those unions to stop protesting, stop being selfish, and start worrying about your people, and start going out there and start distributing the food and the supplies that are already in Puerto Rico. And with that being stated, I hope that people stop circulating all this propaganda. No, people are not starving in Puerto Rico. No, people are not dying of starvation. It takes 21 days for people to start going through the symptoms of starvation. You know, I don't even understand how people can believe these lies, but I'm not even going to waste time trying to figure people out. These are the facts. Research them. Look them up. Do whatever you need to do, but stop circulating propaganda. Because let me tell you, ultimately, all you're doing, especially, I'm speaking specifically to my fellow Puerto Ricans for Trump. I say, ultimately, all you're doing by circulating this propaganda is that you're creating an environment that is going to contribute to the Democrats and the liberals retaining power in both houses come the 2018 midterm election, which is exactly what this is all about. What's going on in Puerto Rico has already been resolved, but the liberals and the Democrats in Puerto Rico are toxic, along with the mainstream media that help them. They're toxic. All they're there for is to delegitimize Trump in the eyes of Puerto Ricans here in the United States, because Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico already sold out. Keep into mind that when Donald Trump was in the primaries, Puerto Ricans pledged all of their delegates to Mark Rubio, and they pledged none of their delegates to Donald Trump, even though Mark Rubio voted against bankruptcy relief for the $73 billion that Puerto Rico was in debt. He voted against it. And they only pledged their delegates to him just because they didn't like what Donald Trump was saying. If I don't call that a successful dumbing down of Puerto Ricans, I don't know what is. With that being stated, everybody, I'm going to get to work. God bless. Stay safe. La Maga, let's all make America great again. One topic at a time.